The cost of living crisis isn't coming, it's already here. Nearly half of American households can't even afford to survive right now. Half. So listen to this. This is going to make your stomach turn. It makes my stomach turn. According to a Brookings Institution report released back in May 2026, 45.5% of U.S. households didn't earn enough to cover their necessities in the previous year in 2024. This isn't like they're buying video games or buying bikes or whatever. That's food, housing, transportation, healthcare, just the basics. That's not travel, vacations, or fancy dining. We're talking about just basic living expenses. That report also found that a mere $1,000 increase in annual cost of living would push another 3 million households over the edge. That's how thin this margin is today. This isn't new, though. More than 40% of households couldn't afford their necessities every single year from 2014 to 2024, with the exception of 2021 and 2022. And you know what happened in those years, right? Stimulus checks, massive amounts of money printing. The one time the government put money directly in people's hands, Americans could suddenly breathe. But when, of course, all of that happened, the consequences were disastrous. It's been well documented what happened with just printing free money. During the pandemic, many Americans were able to build robust savings accounts, put it in savings. But then, of course, once everything opened back up, people started spending like normal again. Then inflation spiked dramatically. Those savings accounts quickly dwindled back down to nothing. And the Brookings researchers said that in order to actually solve affordability, we have to deal with these larger, most structural costs that are harming households right now. Housing, healthcare, childcare, the things you just can't shop around for or cut out of your budget. That's why this is such an impossible problem to solve. Look at the Census Bureau back in 2024. They reported that the national wages grew just 1.3%. Inflation in that same year was 2.9%. So while they're on TV telling you wages are rising, yeah, they are. What they're not telling you is that the costs are rising more than twice as fast. So the media likes to point to 34 consecutive months where wage growth outpaced inflation between May of 2023 and March of 2026. It sounds great, right? Except real wages still haven't returned to 2021 levels. That's 34 months of winning. Yet you're still behind where you were 5 years ago. In fact, only 12% of workers say their wages have kept pace with inflation over the past several years. Some people like to point out that household incomes have risen. That's true. But for most people, it's basically meaningless since everything costs more. A gallon of milk costs more. A house costs way more. Insurance costs more. The number may have gone up, but the actual value went down. And anyone who's paid a bill or been to the grocery store knows this. It's no secret. So the system is designed to make you think that you're earning more, but what's actually happening is your purchasing power is being drained over time. And that's exactly why so many people feel like they're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. They're not imagining it. They're not necessarily bad with money. They're running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. Every raise gets absorbed by higher costs. The finish line keeps moving further away. What's especially maddening is that the official economic numbers often don't reflect what people experience in their daily lives. Policymakers can point to GDP growth, how unemployment or a strong stock market, but none of that matters if families can't comfortably pay their bills. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently pointed out that the U.S. economy could grow 3% this year. A so-called booming economy means nothing when you're putting groceries on a credit card or postponing medical procedures because you can't afford your deductible. So this disconnect between what the data says and what households actually feel is one of the biggest reasons why so many Americans have lost confidence in the economy. They're being told things are improving, while their own financial situation tells a very different story. This is what economists call a boom session. Data points right now to strength and growth, but everyday Americans aren't reaping those benefits. It doesn't feel like it. Pew Research has been tracking this for decades. So the share of adults living in middle-class households fell from 61% in 1971 to 50% in 2021. And it hasn't improved since. So to be considered middle class in 2026, right now, your household needs to earn between $83,000 and $125,000. That's the bar. And half the country is already below that. But here's what's really happening. The American Enterprise Institute found that the share of wealth held by the lower than middle class and the core middle class fell from 24% in 1989 to just 8% in 2022. From 24% to 8%. Where did that 16% go? Up? It went up. The wealthy got wealthier, while the middle class got squeezed down into the lower class. That's 16% of the entire country's wealth transferred upward in one generation. You've all heard us report the dollar is losing value every day. Our national debt is out of control, and you can bet no one in Washington or Wall Street is worrying about your finances or how you'll be able to afford retirement. That's why you and only you need to become financially independent. It's the only way to break free from the system. Now, if you're wondering how, here's a method that's been proven time and time again. Real estate has created more millionaires than any other investment type in history. And it's exactly how Natalie and I broke free as well. We're able to do this because we aren't dependent on a boss, the stock market, or whatever nonsense Washington triggers. And you can do the very same thing. Now, your path will probably look different from ours, and figuring out your next steps can be tricky, especially if you're just getting started. So we built a 60-second quiz that shows you exactly where you stand as an investor and gives you simple, clear next steps for moving forward. So stop wishing that you had a portfolio full of performing assets. Take action. Start building one right now, today. You can take the quiz while you're listening to this episode, okay? All you need to do is go to redacted.inc/quiz, and the link is right there on your screen. Again, redacted.inc/quiz. Michigan Senator Elisa Slotkin last week said that the most existential threat to America is the shrinking middle class. The rising debt, stagnant wages, the soaring costs leave families living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm sure a lot of these, liberal members of Congress would love for some sort of a universal basic income so the government would just print fake money. But of course, that's socialism, and that would collapse our entire society, so it's not going to work. So what do? Let's talk about the biggest structural cost that's crushing the middle class right now. And that one big fix could be housing, to try to turn all of this around. Housing. So for decades in the U.S., the housing costs to income ratio hovered between 2.5 and 3.5, meaning a house costs around 3 times your annual income. For most people, that's achievable. That's the American dream, right? But today, that ratio is over 5.0. A house costs 5 times what you earn in a year. And in major metro markets, forget it. It's 8 to 10 to 12 times. Even people making over $100,000 a year are saying that they're feeling immense pressure from inflation. Making a 6-figure salary once meant that you made it. Now it means you can barely afford your house that your parents bought on a single income. In New York State, more than 50% of families can't manage to get by on their incomes. Many Americans have opted to move to lower-cost states just to survive. So they have to move out of New York. We lived in New Jersey. It had some of the highest property taxes in the country. So you got to get out of there. You got to move. Maybe you didn't want to. Maybe they don't want to leave New York. Maybe they have generational roots in that state. But sorry, too expensive. So because of this, every single state in the Midwest saw population growth from July 2024 to July 2025. Yeah, people moving to places like Omaha, Nebraska, and Iowa, and Kansas. So that high-tax coastal states have become unlivable for anyone who isn't already wealthy. So imagine leaving the life you've always known, your extended family, your community, not necessarily out of desire for opportunity, but just to be able to house your family somewhere. That's how bad home affordability is today, especially in those high-cost states. But what's crucial to understand is that the cost of living crisis is actually the largest wealth transfer in American history. Think about it. Inflation erodes wages. Rising housing costs climb upwards. Every dollar flows up to corporations, banks, investors, landlords who own the assets you need to rent or finance. 76% of Americans say cost of living is their biggest economic concern. But only a fraction of them are doing anything about it. Beyond cutting coupons, maybe canceling some subscriptions here and there, you can't coupon your way out of a structural crisis. You can't side hustle your way out of a wealth transfer. So the system is set up to work this way, and no amount of frugal living is going to change that math. The only way out, and I mean the only way, is to move to the other side of the equation. Robert Kiyosaki has been talking about this for decades in his famous Cash Flow Quadrant book, an incredible book that you should all read. And it's only become more obvious in today's economy. You need to own assets that generate cash flow, assets that appreciate, assets that other people pay for. And if you think of it's like out of reach now, it's only going to get worse. Interest rates are still elevated with no relief in sight. And every month you wait, prices just go higher. So it's like, can I start digging out of this hole, climbing out of this hole, or I'm going to just make it deeper and deeper? Do you think investors who bought properties before COVID regret it? What about 10 years ago? No, they don't regret it. They don't regret gaining massive amounts of equity or buying real estate while rates were lower. Many investors wish they'd started earlier. That's always the case. I started in my 30s. Man, I wish I would have been smart with money when I was in my 20s. I was an idiot with money in my 20s. I was in massive credit card debt. I didn't know what I was doing until I became financially intelligent and started investing in real estate. And I wish I would have done it earlier. Always is the case, right? So the middle class is being squeezed out of homeownership entirely. And once you're a permanent renter, then you're on the wrong side of the wealth transfer forever. You'll be the one paying the landlord's mortgage instead of your own. And for a lot of people, actually renting could make more sense right now financially. Rent the home you live in and buy performing assets separately. Because right now, obviously, the mortgage rates are higher and it's harder to get into a primary residence to pay for. So you might be better renting. I know a lot of smart investors that do that. They rent the home they live in, and then, of course, they're buying assets separately that are performing for them. So if the media is convincing you to wait, like, you're being misled. Like, sit this one out, just wait. Remember the Brookings report that I told you about? Said a $1,000 increase would push 3 million families over the edge. What about a layoff? A cut in work hours? How close are you to that line? Things can change in an instant, which is why it's more important than ever to think about how you can protect yourself and your family. People who see the writing on the wall are taking action right now. They're going to build equity, reap tax benefits, create generational wealth for their families. Everybody else is going to be working well into their retirement years and wondering, what the heck went wrong? So the cost of living crisis is real. It's destroying the middle class. And sadly, it's not going away anytime soon. But you have a choice. You can stay on the side of the equation that's being squeezed, or you can move to the side that's building wealth. And if you want to learn more about what's going on with mortgage interest rates right now, you've got to watch this next video where I unpack the history of rates and what is ahead for the future of the housing market. So click on that video right here. I'll see you over there. Thank you so much for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.